Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Kings of Television review. Here we are reviewing the asset of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., episode 3 of season number 1. And I gotta say, right off the bat, that as these episodes get better and better, it seems that more and more people are tuning out. The debut, the pilot episode, had 12.12 million viewers in the US. Then it dropped in episode 2 to 8.66 million viewers, and this episode got 7.87. And to be totally honest, if these three episodes had been switched up, I think it would have been a lot better for them. I think the pilot really rubbed people the wrong way, and 084 was fine, but still, you needed something more. I think I liked 084 a little more than I, set off last review, but I don't know, it's just, I think that they kind of started off on the wrong foot, but they're really getting the feel of what this show really should be, and it's some action. You need action in this show. People have seen the Avengers, they want weird stuff, they want stuff they want superheroes and supervillains. They just don't want the crazy, the boring stuff. We don't want the desk job. We want to be out on the field, alright? So, and that's what I think they did with this episode, which is really, really good. The asset. Now, S.H.I.E.L.D. searches for one of its assets, Dr. Franklin Hall. It starts off with Dr. Franklin Hall being shipped around in a semi-truck, and I don't know, I didn't really peg him for the good guy at the beginning of this. I thought he would be the bad guy who hired his goons to help him escape from S.H.I.E.L.D.'s captivity, but apparently he was captured by Ian Quinn, the research partner of Dr. Franklin Hall. They did a lot of research on gravitonium, was it? I don't really remember the name of the mineral. But Ian Quinn has mucho money and has done a lot for charity, and he's like one of these, I'm a good guy, but not really. Behind the scenes, I do all this crazy stuff. And he wants to take control of this gravitonium stuff and take control of Earth's gravity. So they have a little tiny, maybe 1 inch in diameter type ring system that holds a gravitonium sample, and it could be used to lift a semi-truck and a couple of cars, but now they've got a 12-foot one. So if you do the math on this, 1 inch to 12 feet is probably 1 times 12 is 12, 12 times 12 is 144, right? So 144 times the amount of force that you could do with a semi-truck. That could be a whole city, maybe, I don't know, depends on how big of the city, but you could destroy the gravity of a whole city, is what I'm thinking, if I did my math correctly. Correct me if I am wrong. So yes, this is not a very good situation for S.H.I.E.L.D., and they want to get Dr. Franklin Hall back, and they do not want him to help Ian Quinn on this research. So they send in Skye, because she is the only S.H.I.E.L.D. operative who can go into this place without breaching any type of protocol. But the thing about this episode was, last episode, at the end, we had this mysterious message on her phone. Are you in or are you out? And she says, I'm in. Now, does that mean that she's in and she's still part of the rising tide, or does her loyalties really lie with the S.H.I.E.L.D.? And this episode answers that question wholeheartedly. At the very end of it, she tells Agent Ward, who has been training her throughout this episode, that, are you going to be in or out? There's a moment where you choose to be in or you run away. And at the end of this episode, she says she's in. So we have Skye on our team now. So they send her into this mansion to find Ian Quinn and find out a little bit more about where Franklin Hall is, Dr. Franklin Hall, and what he is doing and what they're doing with the gravitonium. So she goes in, and Ian Quinn, and she's really smooth about it. She plays it up as if she is just part of the rising tide and she hacked the network. And then Ian Quinn tries to hire her, and she almost accepts it. And this is before she says that she wants to join and totally be in with the S.H.I.E.L.D. So throughout this episode, you're wondering, is she going to trade on them? Not really, though. It's a TV show. She's going with the S.H.I.E.L.D. Or is she going to be part of the bad guys? So he's really buttering her up on, I could give you a job, I'm good looking, all this type of fun stuff. So then she sneaks away while he's giving a speech, and she tries to find where the gravitonium is and where Dr. Franklin Hall might be. And they gave her this little device that she just has to be in close proximity of the range of a computer for Fitzsimmons to hack it and find out where Franklin Hall's location is at. So she's there, she's trying to find a way in, and she gets caught by Ian Quinn, and she plays it off really brilliantly. There's no other way that you could have. He catches her saying, "What do I do now?" into it like an earpiece, and he says, "What are you really doing?" And she plays it really well, and especially for a viewer, because at this point you're probably 3/4 through the episode, and she holds up a sign that says "S.H.I.E.L.D. is listening," and she's just kind of making coy conversation. So now he knows, Ian Quinn knows that S.H.I.E.L.D. is here and they're present, and it leaves you wondering, is she going to join Ian Quinn and betray the S.H.I.E.L.D. members, or is she going to do some kind of crazy ploy that works out? And she does some kind of crazy ploy that works out because they start talking, and it just so happens that she is close enough to his office that she can use the hacker thing in the makeup box that Fitzsimmons gave her. So, at this point, Ian Quinn is now a little furious. He knows that Coulson and Ward have found Dr. Franklin Hall, and Coulson is going to get him while Ward comes to get Skye. So he knows something's going wrong, and then the gravity starts going crazy. Coulson and Hall are arguing about what they're going to be doing with this gravitonium, and Ian Quinn says, "Alright, gotta go, I'm escaping," and he escapes. So I'm wondering if Ian Quinn is going to be a huge evil man in this series, or if Dr. Franklin Hall goes out and kills Quinn for betraying him, or for making him this way. I don't know. At the end of this episode, we do get that Hall is going to be a supervillain. You saw his hand come out of the gravitonium, and I don't know, it's exciting. It's really exciting because this is what I wanted. I wanted a supervillain, and that guy's acting was really good. He was doing something for the right reason, and he paid a price for it, and he's been turned into this monster, this freak that he didn't want to create. So how is that going to change his psyche? I get really excited about the origins of supervillains, and if this is an origin of a great supervillain, I can't wait to see him kick some ass. At the end of it, S.H.I.E.L.D. really pulls together, and they team up, and they save the day. They stop the gravitonium by throwing Franklin Hall into it, mostly because Franklin Hall has, at this point, kind of lost his mind. He wants to do something for the good of mankind, and they have to find a way to shut it down. Coulson can't find a way to shut it down. Fitzsimmons say there's only one way to shut it down, and that's to make a catalyst, and that's to throw something in there that will create a chemical reaction and stop the process. And Coulson's only ploy is that he throws Franklin Hall in there. And Hall, if Hall knew that he was going to be a monster, I think he probably wouldn't have agreed to this. But he basically stands there as Coulson shoots the glass out from under him, and he falls into the gravitonium. And, I don't know, at the end of the episode, it creates a monster. But S.H.I.E.L.D. saves the day. They wanted to rescue Hall, but they couldn't. But they did stop the gravitonium, and they've got that ball of gravitonium with Franklin Hall in it in a secure location. Or is it? I don't know. I'm really super excited about the next episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm really super excited about, is Ian Quinn going to be an enemy? And I'm also really excited about Skye and Ward becoming a thing. I don't know. Again, I'm not a very romantic person, so I don't really want to see them become a thing, but I just liked their conversations in this episode. The past two episodes, I haven't really liked those two, and I'm like, they don't even, I don't want to see those two together, but in this episode, I don't know, I think they had really good chemistry, so I liked that. We also got that Agent May didn't want to be just the pilot anymore. She wants back in the action. She got a taste of it, and now she's like once an addict, always an addict. She wants to be in. So, again, I want a little more history on these people. This was an action-y episode, not a talky episode. So, I'm happy with it. I'm going to give this one a high 8 out of 10. It was very, very good. The Asset, if you haven't seen this show, I would recommend skipping the pilot and just watching 084 in The Asset, episodes 2 and 3. It'll start you off in a much better way, I think. So, that being said, ladies and gentlemen, for the Kings of Television Review, I am Derek D. Ginger King. Checking out.